All right, so we have the wagon. Today we're going to do some work. I've gone ahead and already emptied out all of the interior pieces that I was collecting. So here's a lot of the black interior pieces right here. A lot more here, some window regulators. A lot more back hatch trim pieces back there. There's some more stuff on the roof. But I've emptied it out. In today's video, we're going to work on getting all this beige interior stuff out. We have somebody that wants to come pick up some of the pieces. That's good. Gets it out of my area. And then that'll get us some area, some space to work with to pull out the carpet and really get this thing started. So I want to take a quick video showing this before we do a magical interior change. So here we are. And then I got my helper right here, Hot Wings. All right, and we got these dirty seats. The car was sitting out forever. It's got a little mildew and mold. Those will be getting thrown away. Super excited to get all this changed out though, to have black interior, black dash, black carpet, black headliner. The headliner is tucked away safe in the basement in a dry area. And not gonna say what the interior seats are gonna be yet because that is a surprise for later in the video. I had two choices and I chose one, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, and then on to the engine. Luckily, the previous owner was in the middle of a head gasket job because they overheated the M54B25, and I guess they just stopped because they ran out of money and decided they didn't want to put more money into it. They had already had the block decked, and they had already got the cylinder head machined, new valves, new valve stem seals. I have a receipt for the valve stem seals they replaced out. New head gasket that was sprayed with copper spray, but they never torqued anything down. I have a box of brand new head bolts that were never used. They just rested the cylinder head on top of the block and then sold the car. So we'll figure out something to do with this stuff. Maybe we'll find it a good home so all this hard work doesn't get lost. I'm sure it'll be useful to somebody. But it makes pulling everything out a whole lot easier because everything is disconnected. We just need to get under there and disconnect the drive shaft, the transmission, the suspension, and then pull this thing out. And I don't see this thing taking more than 2 hours to get pulled out, honestly. Hopefully we can get this pile pared down. There is an M3 rear suspension under there. Not really looking forward to that, but it'll have to get done. And today we'll see if we can get this thing also centered and put up onto quick jacks into a final resting place so that we can get everything done. All right, we'll be back in the next video. All right, so we are back with a little bit more of an update. It's late, it's been a long weekend, and got something different than just engine stuff. Been hard at work at getting a lot of the interior pulled apart and cleaned out of the wagon, and that's exactly what we did. So me and my friend, we got to work and we accomplished what we wanted to do. So let's take a look. And we have the wagon, and we have gutted it. Door panels, carpet, seats, all the interior panels, headliner. The sunroof cartridge is going to be removed. It's broken. I have a replacement for it from my sedan. It's the same thing, glass and everything. So I'm going to reuse it since I pulled it out when I did the carbon fiber roof. At least that'll be helpful. So I'll get that pulled out and clean out the sunroof drains because I know that they're clogged. The floorboards were soaked when the car was sitting forever. So then right here, we see our first bit of damage. Looks like somebody in the past had jacked up the car by the floorboard. It's a very common thing on these cars. It happens all the time. It's unfortunate, and it could have been a lot worse. The damage is really not as bad as it looks. Looks like there's a little bit of rust here, and that's mostly likely because of how much water was soaked into the carpet when the car sat. I believe the vapor barrier seal on this door had a leak, and the car was on a hill, and water, every time it rained, just came in right through here and just soaked this carpet. So I'm pretty sure that's why these areas got rusted. And so I'll take a wire brush, clean them up, and spray some rust inhibitor, protection, and primer. Get all that taken care of. This right here, this area, I'll have to order a new body cap from BMW. I've looked underneath. The whole bottom is completely clean. There's no rust bubbling. The undercoating is intact. And so at this point, we can work on getting a 2x4 and a sledgehammer and beating all this back down. It really doesn't need to go much, because you can see it's still raised up a little over here from the factory. And once this gets down, we'll remove this undercoating. I mean, not undercoating, the sound deadening. And then sand away any kind of rust. It's probably just a little surface rust. Get all that cleaned up. Get a new body cap. And then spray all this with the same rust inhibitor, protection, prime. And then put a new body cap and seal that up real good, and that should be done. Here we move on. The whole dashboard's been taken out. And the dashboard skeleton brace, that's over there. So got the, what do you call it? The heater core has been pulled out. Got the fuse box wiring sitting right there ready to go. So I am ready to start all of my wiring retrofitting for the whole SMG system and the PDC. This car did not have a switch panel center where you got all the row of buttons. It was the base model style car where it just has the single fat buttons for each individual option, and it had no options. It was just traction control. So lucky me. A lot of wiring to do for the heated seats, hi-fi audio, and some other stuff, sport button, all the other wiring stuff. That's not too bad. So yeah, lucky, hoping to get started on this really soon. Oh, here's something pretty cool. This is the SMG selector. So in the SMG cars, only SMG cars, they have studs on the trans tunnel, and this just bolts to it. Whereas on M3 6-speed cars, they don't have anything. And on non-M automatics, they have this ugly thing, and it's got a little thing that sits in the hole right here in the trans tunnel. But it uses the same 3 holes. But on the non-M cars, they use bolts. So as you can see here, these bolts are what held in the automatic transmission thing. So we just take these out. And another thing on SMG cars, this is sealed with a welded plate that's spot welded in place. And then this also has a plate. So when you do like SMG to manual transmission conversions, you have to cut that plate out. You don't have to do anything with that. You have to cut that plate out so that you can fit the shifter in there. And here you can see there's the Guibo flex disc, whatever you want to call it. But the cool thing is this thing it literally just, it goes in the same spot. So it's pretty cool. All the holes line up. Yep. That one will bolt in. This one bolts in. So SMG system will bolt in no problem. And then I just got to do the wiring for the shift to lockout and all the other stuff. So I'm excited to get started on this. There's the whole SMG system that I have. You got the actuator, the selector arm, all the hydraulic lines, the pump, the accumulator, the slave cylinder that's electronically actuated. I have to fix that plug connector housing. I stepped on it. So I have a replacement. I can swap out that connector housing. All right. Well, that's the update for today. Hopefully I'll report back with some more. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, and we're back. It is the middle of the day, and I started doing a little bit of the rust repair on that floorboard. It wasn't too bad, so I started off with pouring some Evapo-Rust and brushing off Evapo-Rust gel onto the affected areas, letting it sit. I let it sit overnight because I forgot about it, honestly. But I checked it the next day, and it did its job. It removed a lot of the surface rust. I was able to wipe and vacuum it away, and then I used a wire brush on a drill attachment to really dig into the more embedded rust. And so I was able to do that. So let's take a look. So here I've got another coating of Evapo-Rust on there to get whatever I can as one more thing, but I got all of that rust off, and I've grinded off a lot with the wire brush wheel. Oh, here's another spot right here. That was a lot worse. And then over here in the floorboard, I've used a 2x4, and I used a big hammer and gently tapped that floorboard down so it's nice and flat now, and it's flat on the bottom. All the rust that was corroded around this body cap hole has been taken away, and I wire brushed the rest of it out. And I have some more Evapo-Rust just sitting on top of it, and then I'll clean it all away. And then any of this surface rust that's right here on this metal that was sitting underneath this body sound deadening material, that'll get taken away by the Evapo-Rust, and then I'll wipe it away and vacuum it away as well. So that should be done, and then once it's dried and cleaned, I'll come back with some zinc-based primer and spray all this down, and then probably spray some type of bed liner material over it, covering up the threaded holes for the seats, just to make sure it's really protected. And I'll use some kind of seam sealer here with a new body cap I'll order from BMW, and we'll use seam sealer and push this in from the bottom and get that nice and squared away, and then on to the next thing. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back with a little bit more progress. I might be a little dirty, sorry about that. Very cool stuff. So progress here would be getting the floorboard. Remember I showed you I cleared all the rust out, and then dried it up, and then sprayed a rust inhibitor primer on it, and then I found a blue that was kind of close and just sprayed the bottom blue. And then I bought some seam sealer, so I'm going to get a new body cap here and then install it with seam sealer so that it goes through here, and then seam sealer from the bottom, so it'll be nice and sealed. And then the factory cap actually comes with a heat melting seal, so it comes up and then you melt it here and it seals it from the top as well. So that's good. Other progress would be we got the car on quick jacks. So buddy let me borrow his quick jack adapters that he had custom made, and it helps give extra height, which is awesome. So wagon is in there. That's not even the highest setting. It can go up one more level. I actually had it up there earlier to help get everything bolted from the bottom. And then here we have engine out. So engine is out. Wasn't too bad. Engine, transmission. Hopefully I'll get somebody to come pick those up for free or something. And then once all that is cleared out, then I can get started on cleaning all this stuff up, getting it all cleaned up, getting all the suspensions removed, and get the M3 stuff put on. And then I can get started on the wiring stuff on the inside. Once I get all the wiring done and routed like I want, then I will be able to go ahead and drop the engine and transmission in and feel comfortable that I can get everything put in and wired up correctly. It's just easier to do the wiring when everything is out. All right, so we will come back with another update, but just wanted to show good progress. And all right, we'll see you guys. Thanks.